As you know, the inflation has come back to 2.2% now. I want to tell you what will happen moving forward. There's a whole lot of supply and not enough demand like it is now. The prices come back. Welcome back to Real Talk with Nathan Najib. I've been in business in real estate for 17 years or so, and we've been doing these predictions since the pandemic. I call myself the uneducated economist, and I like to stay uneducated because if you're uneducated, it's very hard to manipulate you because nobody paying me in person, so you're only hearing the truth, but nothing but the truth. Today, as you know, the inflation has come back to 2.2% now, and I want to tell you what will happen moving forward. The points I'm going to cover today are inflation rate, OCR and mortgage rates, and how do they affect the inflation, and then the layoff and unemployment, mortgage rate approval versus supply of houses, and then the real estate cycle and where the market is today and what I'm suggesting what's going to happen in the future. Now, this is a very interesting point. Inflation at 2020, before everything started happening, at 2020 quarter four, the inflation was 1.4%. That was at the pandemic because at that time, there was no money printed, people were not spending money all the time. And then the next thing at 2021, what happened, went out to 5.9. Why was that? Because a whole lot of money was printed, right? And then the next year was 7.2%. And the year after that was 4.7. It came back, and then this quarter 3 2024 has come back to 2.2. Inflation to be at a healthy level needs to be under 2%. So it's getting pretty close to the healthy inflation year on year. Next point I want to cover is OCR and interest rate and how they affect the economy. The lever that we've spoken about, this thing here that we talk about, that the Reserve Bank and the government play with, is the interest rate. Interest rate high, prices of things low. And then when interest rate is low, the price is high. Now what happened was, back in 2020, a whole lot of money got printed and interest rate was lower as 2.19%. The OCR was almost at 0%, so people were spending money. So what happened was, interest rate low, the prices went through the roof. Everything was expensive. The cars, the houses, everything was expensive. And inflation was high, obviously. When people are spending money, businesses need workers, right? So when they need workers, the unemployment is low and inflation is high. Because if everybody's spending, it gets the economy turning, right? What happens in 2023, when National came in power, even prior to that, they started raising the interest rate. Too slow, but they did. Usually they are a little bit later than they should be. So they started raising the interest rate and slowed the market down. As soon as they start doing that, the prices start coming back. Also, because interest rate is one lever that they play with, but also restrictions as well. To slow the economy down, because everything was going so fast, things were happening, right? To slow it down even faster, they brought in the couple of other things. The DTI, debt to income ratio, so what you can buy with your money. It wasn't just easy to just go to the bank and you can borrow money. That wasn't the case anymore because they wanted to make it harder, so they made it harder. They took first home grant off the table for first home buyers, and the government spending, they stopped spending their own money. And then the Auckland Light Rail, they stopped that, the Fury, and that was about $29 billion worth of work they were going to spend, the money they were going to spend in taxpayers' money, so they took that off the economy. All those things, what does it do? It slows the economy down and drop the prices like it has been in the last 2 years or so. In the next slide, I'll cover the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate is currently at 4.6%. Previously, it was a lot lower than this because the market things were happening, so everybody needed workers, right? So, and also the Phillips curve, we've spoken about this in the past. If inflation is high, unemployment is low. Why? Because when people are spending, as I spoke about in the last slide, when people are spending, people need workers, right? So nobody's going to be unemployed. If inflation is low like it is now, that much money in the economy, the government is laying a whole lot of people off, so the unemployment increases, right? That is what Phillips curve is. We've spoken about this in the past, so go and watch our past videos. So the public sector, they laid off 4,000 people, 33,000 unemployed versus last year. This year's 33,000 more people unemployed versus last year. And then 131,200 people departed New Zealand. So that's what we mean by unemployment increasing. Why? Because 383 businesses liquidated only in Auckland. And all around New Zealand, if you add them up, it's going to be a whole lot more. Meaning that if there's no businesses, there's no jobs, right? Least jobs, right? And interesting part is 93 of these businesses that went out of business were in property sector. Meaning they were developers, they were maybe investors, they couldn't hold on to their properties, maybe they had to close doors. And then what's off the back of that? What's the domino effect off the back of that? I'll cover that in the next slide. In the next slide, I want to talk about this very interesting trend that mortgage approvals is supply, demand, and house prices. What does that do? When there's a whole lot of supply and not enough demand, like it is now, the prices come back. On the other hand, 2021, 2022, when it was peak of the market, there was heaps of people being approved for their finances. The prices went straight through the roof, and the supply, there wasn't enough properties on the market. January to September 2023, the supply was 233,044. And this year, January to September 22, year on year, the supply has gone up by 20%, and the supply today is 280,251. Meaning that whole lot of supply, a lot of people being approved for their properties, meaning the prices of property come back, and that's what's been happening. Interesting graph to share with us. We'll have a look at that too. Now the next slide, I want to talk about the real estate cycle, where we are now, and what's going to happen moving forward. So the real estate cycle, what's happened is the market has, let's say this was 2019, 2020. The market went up like this and back, and that's what happened. The real estate market is what it does. The market was, let's say, was down here. The market was having a nice increase, between 2 to 4%, and then all of a sudden, the pandemic. Everything closed, we had a momentary drop in the market. Nothing was happening, so the prices dropped. And then all of a sudden, after 12 weeks, they opened the gates, the floodgate, heaps of buyers came through, and then the prices shot up. The prices shot up, they also printed a whole lot of money to put in the economy because they're worried about the economy. So they print a whole lot of money, the prices keep going up and up and up and up and up. And here in September 2021, till March 2023, that was peak of the market, as we called it, the hottest day in summer. Everything was selling, property was selling for ridiculous prices, and a growth like this is neither sustainable nor is needed for a good, healthy real estate market. They start raising interest rate at this point, and then the market came back down, and slowly, when market is where we are at now, at 2024, we're probably almost at the bottom. There's heaps of supply, and once you hit the bottom, because there's a whole lot of things happening like bankruptcies, liquidation, people are losing their jobs, there's going to be some very good opportunities if you're looking to buy moving forwards. What you got to remember, if you're looking to invest at the moment, because the interest rate being so high, the price is still pretty high for the interest rate where it's at. There is no right yield. You don't get the good yield. Like the interest rate, the rent won't cover the interest rate. We've done a video about that as well, so we'll go back and watch that. So I wouldn't invest at the moment. I don't at the moment. I'm waiting for a little bit longer when the interest rate comes down and the prices hopefully will probably come down slightly lower because of all that's happening. If you're looking to buy these heaps of options, so you can go out there and look for a nice property, and don't buy with emotion, but if you're looking to find the right house, it's okay because you're going to be there for a long period of time anyway. So buying for a family home, even if you pay slightly more for it, it's almost the bottom. The market is going to recover anyway, so not a big deal. If you're looking to sell and you think, a lot of people say, I'm going to wait for another year, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months, the market is not going to come back within a year or 24 months, because it's once the market hits the bottom, what happens is it recalibrates, especially when it's struggling. People are struggling like now, because when people are struggling, they spend all their savings. Now they're going to start saving, get themselves jobs, right? It takes a little while for the market to recalibrate, probably up to 24 months for the market to come back to a normal growth. And then from there, the market will go back to what we call a healthy real estate growth, which we're all for, between 2 to 4%. I hope this video has been good to you, it's been of help to you. We enjoy doing these videos. Please like our channel, subscribe, comment below. And if you want us to talk about anything, if you need any help with real estate, we're here to help. Thank you very much for watching and have a great one. See you next time.